Welcome to the Stockscores Tour, a short overview of Stockscores.com. I'm Stockscores founder Tyler Ballhorn, and I'm going to describe for you in this video what Stockscores.com is all about and who Stockscores is for. Ultimately, I want to tell you how Stockscores can benefit you in your investing and trading. I'll give you a little tour of the tools on Stockscores.com as well as describe some of the services that we offer. All right, let's get into a little bit of the history of Stockscores. It was founded back in 1999. I wanted to fulfill my own need. I was an active trader in the market, and I was using some methods, some approaches to the market that just weren't common, and therefore the tools that I needed didn't exist. I was spending hours and hours to find the kind of trading opportunities that I could make a lot of money on, and I needed a more efficient way to do that. At the same time, I had a group of investors in a club, a few hundred investors who sort of followed my approach as well, and who really didn't have a background in chart analysis and finance and technical analysis, and I wanted a way to simplify that sort of approach to analysis of stocks for these investors and traders. So my aim was to make it powerful enough for me, the pro trader, but also simple enough so that people who didn't trade day by day and have all of that background in trading could still use it. So it's all about simplicity and power. We created some really powerful tools to give both investors and traders an edge in the market. And along the way, we realized that there was a real need for education of investors and traders and showing them the way to be more profitable, more disciplined investors and traders. And that's really the mandate for Stockscores. So who is it for? Well, it's really for any investor or trader who believes that market activity contains a message about a company's potential. My philosophy on the market is that information drives stocks. It's the information about a company's ability to make money in the future that ultimately drives share price. But I have a little bit of a cynical view because I don't believe that the market is fair. I think that every company has some investors who are trading on better information than others. And those people, when they act in the market, they leave a trail for others to follow. And that's what I do using the tools of Stockscores.com. I develop these tools to look for evidence that the people that have the best information are acting in the market. And as a result, I can find these stocks that are going to make big moves very early in their move before most other people do. So if you believe in that philosophy, that approach to the market, then Stockscores is a tool that you should be using. Now, how can it benefit you? Well, most importantly, you can identify these opportunities early, and you can save a massive amount of time in the research process. In a moment, I will show you the Stockscores Market Scan tool. It allows me to filter the entire North American stock market for a wide variety of filters, looking for the stocks that meet my basic criteria. So instead of spending hours looking at stock after stock after stock, I can get the computer to do most of the work so that I only have to look at a handful of stocks to determine whether they really deserve my investment dollar. So it's all about identifying opportunities early and saving time in the research process. Now, if we did what every other technical analysis website does, or if we taught the same theories that every book on chart analysis teaches, we wouldn't really be giving you an edge. We'd be giving you something that you can get elsewhere. Our goal was to identify some special characteristics of how winning stocks trade and build them into our own proprietary indicators. There are indicators on Stockscores that you just cannot get anywhere else. They're my own creation. They come from years of trading experience, from a lot of money being made in the stock market, and there's something that gives the Stockscores user an edge simply because they're not widely used. It's a simple approach to make more money in the market. And if you are managing your own money, maybe you're managing money for others, the Stockscores tools will save you time and give you that all-important edge to beat the market. All right, now I'm going to go through some of the tools on Stockscores one at a time. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on each tool because there are separate videos that cover off all of these other things. But I want to give you a quick overview of the charting area, the portfolio tracking tools, the market scanner, which is really the most important tool on Stockscores, how to do the risk management, and sector analysis. So to start us off, we have the ability to call up charts for any stock listed on the North American stock market. So I just need to know the symbol. If I want to look up Microsoft, I punch in MSFT in the upper right-hand corner here, click on Go, and I get the chart and the stock scores for Microsoft. Now this is a free tool to use. If I go down to the bottom of the chart, I've got a number of different tabs here that I can look at the values for different indicators, whether they're bullish or bearish. I can look at news releases, the chart settings. I can change those settings. I can add in other technical indicators. There's a lot of information in the charting module here in the Getting Started part of the Stockscores Education Center that'll give you more insight into how to use the charts. Now, if you go to the Tools menu, you'll see that there's a number of different tools here. What I want to do right now is just jump over to the Portfolio Creator, because this is where you can create your own portfolio of stocks and see how they are doing. Now, I quickly created, this isn't my actual portfolio, I just created a quick portfolio of stocks just to show how this works. I can add a portfolio, I can edit an existing portfolio, I can delete one. Once I have a portfolio created, I can add a stock to it. But the nice thing is, once I've created a portfolio, I can then go into a chart viewer and view the charts of that portfolio. And we go into Tyler Stocks, and now I can view those charts either in this, which is the small format, or click on large chart format, and now I can cycle through these charts looking for what I'm interested in that particular stock. All right, so that's how the Portfolio Creator works. And again, we have another video that really goes into the detail of how to use the Portfolio Creator and the Watch List Creator. What I want to do now is just give you a quick look at the Market Scan tool. The Market Scan has a few dozen indicators and filters that you can use to look for opportunities in the market. It allows you to say, I want to look at all NASDAQ stocks that are between, let's say, $5 and $10, and you can build these scans on the fly, or you can use preset scans. You may want only stocks that have a sentiment stock score of greater than 60, perhaps stocks that are breaking through 80-day resistance, and really whatever else you might be interested in. You may want only stocks that trade 1,000 times a day. Once you've entered in your settings, you can save the scan for future use, or you can just run the scan as it is. Well, the market scanner just went through every stock listed on the NASDAQ market, and it found the 3 stocks virtually instantly that meet those basic criteria. Now, with the Market Scan tool, you can create your own scan, or you can use some of the preset scans that we have made for you, depending on your subscription. Now, risk management is a super important component of any investing approach, and we have created for you a risk calculator that gives you a sense of what your percentage risk, your dollar risk, how many shares you should buy of a position, all of the concepts that are taught in the risk management lessons in the Stockscores Education Center. Now, this tool allows you to enter in your entry price, where your stop loss price is, how much risk you want to take as a percentage of your portfolio. It will then calculate the reward for risk that you earn on a trade. It's a really great tool that is coupled with the risk management concepts taught in the foundation area of the Stockscores Education Center. Now, the final tool I want to show you, and certainly not the final tool on Stockscores because there are many, but the Sector Watch is another excellent tool for identifying pockets of strength or weakness in the market. Now, I have jumped into the Sector Watch. I've gone into the US sector look, and here I can see all of the sectors that make up the market as well as their sentiment stock score. So you can see within the energy sector at this moment, there's a lot of red, a sector that maybe you want to avoid. On the other hand, in the consumer non-cyclicals, we see a lot of green. Now, if you want to see the actual stocks that make up a sector, you can click on the name of that sector, and it will list the stocks that are in that group as well as their signal and sentiment stock score. Now, you can view them in a list like this, or you can view them in the chart viewer so that you can see the charts of, for in this case, all of the stocks that make up the coal sector. Don't want to look at coal? Perhaps you want to look at the Canadian market? Well, just go back to the Sector Watch tool, look at the Canadian indexes, and there you can see, hey, clean technology not doing so well. Meanwhile, the Canadian consumer staples, good looking area. If I click on that, I can see the stocks that make up that group. Now, Stockscores is more than just tools. A big part of what we do is educate investors and active traders on how to trade the Stockscores approach. I've been trading for 25 years. About 15 years ago, I started teaching people how to trade and invest in the stock market. Now, I'm a professional trader. I've been doing it for most of my adult life, but I've also learned how people learn. You know, when I first started teaching, I quickly learned that I couldn't just ramble off with a bunch of technical jargon because people don't get it. You know, if you haven't got a background in finance or in trading, some of the words that we use don't make any sense to you. So I've really learned how to simplify the teaching approach and make it as efficient as possible. Not because people don't have the intelligence to learn this stuff, that's not it at all. It's all about having the background. And without the background, you got to keep it simple. So my approach to teaching is very simple, methodical, step by step. Learn a concept, get it under your belt, then go on to the next concept. Eventually, we take multiple concepts and put them together, but it's always simple because we don't rush into it. And I've really learned how people learn about the stock market, and I apply that in the way that I teach. We also have discussion forums and a chat room on Stockscores for our members, particularly for the active traders who meet in the room on a daily basis to exchange trading ideas. That's something that's open to our members of Stockscores.com. On a regular basis, I will do live webcasts. Some of them are free, some of them are subscription only. For example, I will trade the market all day long and you can watch my trading screen. That's one of the live trading webcasts that I do. Other times I'll just do a 1-hour session in the evenings to show how I analyze stocks for that longer term investor looking to put some stocks in their retirement portfolio. Now, one of the greatest services on Stockscores is completely free. It's the weekly newsletter. Each week I write a column with some trading concepts, teaching something about trading and investing, and I also highlight stocks that I think have good potential. It's a way for me to sort of expose you to the Stockscores approach, but in a way that is completely risk-free for you. There's no real sales pitch. It's just good information every week to help you become a better investor or trader. Now, if you're new to Stockscores, how do you get started? Well, the first thing you want to do is set up a free user account. Real simple. You go to the Stockscores.com homepage. There's a link there to set up your free user account. We do not spam. We do not rent out our user or email list to anyone. You won't get a bunch of garbage email from us. I'm totally against that. It drives me crazy. And so we're very particular about maintaining the privacy of our users. We'll send you our newsletter if you want it. And from time to time, we'll let you know about upgrades or new features on Stockscores, perhaps an event that might be in your area where you can learn more about how we operate. So subscribe to that free weekly newsletter. You can do so from the homepage on Stockscores. But right now, start off by simply checking the stock scores of the stocks you follow. Now, you're probably saying, well, how do the stock scores work? Well, get into the Getting Started area of the Stockscores Education Center. There's a video in there on how the stock scores are calculated, plus a number of other videos to get you started in the Stockscores website. There's also, under the Getting Started menu, a user guide where you can see how to use all these tools, including the market scan, what all those filters actually do, and how they can help you become a better investor or a better trader. Well, I'm glad that you've taken this video in. I hope that it gives you a good overview of the tools on Stockscores. There's much more detail in other videos. I encourage you to watch those. And if nothing else, make sure you start using those Stockscores indicators to gauge whether the stocks you own are worth owning.